I kind of just never thought about making a video like this, where I just, play Melty Blood and I just talk about stuff relating to Melty Blood. Because I always thought I would do something like, play Melty Blood and then talk about something else. And I tried that for a couple of videos. I didn't upload them to the channel, but the thing is, I always got distracted by actually, playing Melty Blood. I'm not all that good at the Sagem thing where he plays a game somewhat semi competently and then he talks about other stuff while doing that. And well, that makes sense. Sejim's pro. He's been doing this for years. But then I was like watching some of my favorite YouTubers that you probably don't know, like BKC from the Pokemon. Uh, he's been making all these sorts of videos for years where he just yaps about Pokemon while something semi-related is going on in the background, usually like a tournament footage. Like he brings up more specific stuff if he deems it necessary, but sometimes he'll just be talking about like a general thing in not Melty Blood, in Pokemon, and then he brings up semi-related tournament footage, and then he like podcasts. Yeah, his videos are like pretty good podcasts, sort of. So I kind of like never thought that I'd make a Melty Blood video like this, but then I realized I'm actually, kind of not bad at this game. I've been playing it for almost 3 years. I'm probably one of the most informed people in the community about the video game, all things considered. And now that JG is retired and to Dengeki and Yata 2, I was like, um, I could actually make a video about Muzzy Blood where I just discuss my thoughts on the game, and like just make a video slightly like I have a notepad in this corner. Let me just pull it up real quick on the things I want to talk about in this video. It's going to be a slightly longer video than normal. I say that, but my last yapping video was about Grand Blue Fantasy, and that one ran for like 30 minutes. So if you're expecting this video to be like a short something that you just watch, like if you're actually paying attention to this video, I suggest you don't. This is more like a podcasty video. If something's important and I decide to show it on screen, I'll describe it as well. And if anyone in LGNA, I mean, you can see if you're actually like looking at this video for like, I don't know, for the first 2 minutes, you can see that I'm in the general VC. So if somebody comes in here and they want to discuss about this and we end up going longer than like the 30 minutes or so I have planned, I that works as well. But I guess like the point was like I was just gonna be making a couple of Melty Blood videos like this where I just talk on end for about the subjects that I want to. Uh, well, if you saw the pad, you could have paused and saw the whole discussion of this talk is gonna be my thoughts on HKohaku. Uh, People sometimes ask me about my thoughts on this character. And I normally just don't post it because let's talk about the first reason that I'm doing this. Zay brought it up as a joke. Like yesterday, I played versus Jog. That's the set you're seeing right now, and I was slightly miffed after I finished the set. Like I didn't like lose super badly or whatever. I lost like what 10-7. I only lost by like 3 games, and 10-7 is not bad. My personal rule about sets is that if you lose 10-3, you 10-3 is like the bare minimum. If you can play this game semi decently and like conform a combo, then you should never be losing more than 10-3 because there's just so much variance in Melty that unless you're like really, really, really gapping your opponent, you're not getting like a 10-0. You'll probably get hit by something, and if they can run semi decent mix, you're gonna get mixed up to death. That's just Melty Blood. uh, I kind of got that attitude from JG because he used to say all the time that 10-3 is like anyone could do that in Melty Blood. You only get to be proud of your set victories, like doing better against someone once it's over 10-3. Like 10-4, 10-5, stuff like that is the only time you're allowed to get proud of your set victories. And I kind of just got that impression from him as well. Uh, but let me pull this notepad again. So Zay made a joke yesterday. After I went to the set, I was mad, like I said earlier, and I posted. I didn't post anything. Let me pull it up on Discord. I'm not gonna show it on the screen. I'll just read what I posted yesterday. Oh yeah. Uh, I I made posts like a month ago when I was like for like a very long time. People knew me as a slight rager after sets, and one of these post set rages was in order to for H-Kkohaku to command grab you, she has to gap you seriously. That's what that was the post. It was like months ago, and I just replied to that with a dot, and I was like, "That's my thoughts on this set." And someone asked me to explain because they were like, "Kohaku, it's H-Kkohaku. She's carried, she's breasted." No, well, it wasn't like that completely. Like they weren't dismissive or anything. People just wanted to know my thoughts, but I was like, I've been in LGNA for what, almost 3-ish years at this point. I know for a fact that you just don't talk about your character if not positively in LFGNA for like any reason. I just don't do that anymore. Uh, so I just decided to like drop it. I was like, I'm not entertaining this discussion anymore. I still think F-Koma is a better grappler than H-Kkohaku, and that's all I said. And then I just like I dipped. I played Penny's Big Breakaway for 3 hours. I played 1-1. I decided to clean up my movement in that game a little bit. I thought about playing Relink. I didn't play Relink. I'm probably gonna finish this story later today, frankly. And then I come back of 3 hours, and then the Luna discussion started. Oh Lord, Luna discussion. I have nothing to say on that. And that's probably like half the reason I don't do discussion in LGNA in general. Like, I'm gonna be real, LGNA sometimes like there'll be swings in LGNA where I just do not feel like posting it, and this is one of the swings in LGNA. Uh, it's nothing complete. It's not like Luna's fault completely, or the fact that he keeps getting banned from tournaments for like very poor reasons, if we're being honest. And it's not even the discussion that's surrounding him. It's just I don't like talking about Melty in general in LFGNA right now. I feel like people are like too dismissive or too disingenuous about Melty right now. So it just I don't like talking there. And when they're not being dismissive, they're being like rude about stuff they just don't know very well about. Like people will be asking questions on stuff that has been like discovered or documented, or they'll be asking for advice with no real intent to actually implement said advice, and it's so annoying to me. Uh, and I understand Melty Blood is pretty much a dead game. Well, it's not dead. Let me rephrase that because I don't want people taking this completely out of context, even though I'll be yapping for like the better half of an hour. Melty Blood is a not as serious game as it was 12 years ago when it was new. The community of people that play Melty Blood now are generally slightly more casual than I am. I am like hyper competitive in comparison to most people because of my background in speedrunning and gotcha games. So because of that, people don't take this stuff seriously as I do when it comes to grinding, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with playing Melty Blood just to have fun. But then when people who are playing mostly to have fun pretend that they actually want to get better to sate their ego or whatever, or like just well, it's not even that they're pretending. Let me rephrase that again. See, this is one of the cool things about doing one of these yapping videos. Nobody's going to assume I'm just being a jerk for the sake of being a jerk. I can actually like collect my thoughts on this a little bit more as I talk about it randomly. They're not doing this to purely save their ego. I think it's just people just like losing. It's human. No one likes losing. And if you're playing a fighting game seriously, even if you're not playing it super seriously, if you're playing casually long enough, you do want to just stop losing eventually. So when people are asking for like answers to stuff that there's no like clear, good, easy answers to, and then they get annoyed or complain when the answer is pretty much just lab the situation in training mode, or just put in more games or put in more effort in VOD review. And when people don't like those answers and they start complaining that, oh, the Omla grinder, a mini JG is out again or whatever, that's the part that takes me off. It makes me like completely uninterested in talking in LFGNA about any sort of serious discussion. So that's pretty much why I'm doing this in a video and not in like LFGNA. And while we're talking about this, I figured I might as well tack on like one additional topic. Why I even bother doing set reviews anymore anyways. Like that used to be JG's whole thing, but he quit, and I was like, personally, I don't really have to do set reviews for people. I do them in private all the time. I not as much as I should, but like again, fighting games are a hobby. They're not like my job or whatever. I don't have to get good at fighting games. It's just something I like doing in my free time. So I don't have to do it for other people but I do anyway, because I kind of enjoy just doing it, because you get to learn a lot when it's not your character on the screen. Like I know pretty much everything there is to know about H-Kkohaku, and I spend a lot more brain space thinking about H-Kkohaku block strings and Okizeme ideas and just raw gimmicks that I can cheese people with, a lot more than I probably should, frankly. But I just like thinking about my character and thinking about the neutral and trying to build the character out so that I don't lose to random IDs like that one that happened on the screen right now. It's Jog ID'd at me after a tech in the corner, and it pissed me off. And, and you can see me mashing buttons. But back to that, I just like Melty Blood, so it just makes sense that when it comes to uh filling the hole, the JG size hole in the community that most people aren't as they don't have the same game view as JG. I don't really either. Honestly, I value mix a lot more than JG does. I think you can make up for bad positioning with just raw offensive presence, and I don't even. I'm a lot slower at being in the right spots than JG is. Frankly, I've not been playing fighting games as long as he has, so I guess that just tracks. And I still, my texts are still awful. But when it comes to like, just set review and helping people, it's just I mean, it's just nice to do, frankly. It's kind of fun, frankly. When people join and there's like a whole bunch of people and we're just like watching somebody set and trying to help them improve. Bro, that was so BS. I hate that dive kick. For those of you who are listening, at the end of the round, like 5 seconds left, Jaw got like a random dive kick as I tried to like air dash away, and he confirmed it with meter into the EX grab and pissed me off. So that side, what was I saying? I just enjoy talking with the community more than like typing with most of the community, I think, because I've never been in like a multiplayer VC that I've like actively disliked being in, but I've definitely seen the chat and spaces I don't like to talk in. So dang, that's like 10 minutes on like the first bullet point, right? Yeah. Let's go to my second one. Don't worry, for those of you who care about my thoughts, and in the future, if someone asks me for my opinions on H-Kkohaku, unless they like change majorly, I'm just gonna link them to this video with annotations and timestamps, because I don't feel like saying this again. I'm never ever typing this up, never ever. But I will just link people to the video with a timestamp on my ideas, on my thoughts on H-Kkohaku. So I said it like 5-6 minutes ago that I think F-Koma is like theoretic. Well, not theoretic. He's actually a better grappler than H-Kkohaku. He's just not a better character. And I should probably explain my thought process about that. Uh, First things first, I was gonna talk about block string offense. To me, when it comes to like grapplers and multi blood, let's be real here. There's no like true traditional grapplers, because grapplers in like games like Street Fighter, like or pretty much any 2D fighter that's not KOF, they're a lot more. Their block string offense is typically of the stronger variety, because their moves don't push them out that much. They have huge grabs that are untechable, that lead to huge damage or like a very strong safe jump or very strong mix. And even if they get like a raw hit in neutral, they are very strong. They're usually very able to like get decent corner carry, if not like absurd carry. It's grappler to grappler, frankly, but they get half decent corner carry. And then generally a strong knockdown into block string offense that's really strong, because of the fact that their command throw is so good, and that their moves are generally focused on not being like good in neutral, but being good on like offense. At least that's my opinion. Like Okizeme, it's grappler to grappler. Like in Street Fighter, I don't, bro, I don't play Street Fighter that much. I'm just gonna drop the Street Fighter comparison before I say something that's stupid. But in Melty Blood, at least, I feel like when it comes to like raw stray hits, H-Kkohaku is pretty lacking to like the other grappler contenders in this game, especially the Komas. Like, I feel like if Koma gets a stray hit in neutral, he is mindlessly converting it into generally 3.2k plus. Like the optimal C Koma combos can do like what, 4.6 to 5.6k. Wow, that was an unfortunate drop. They do 3.6 to 5.2k generally, and his air throw is not as strong as Kohaku's, because Kohaku generally, if they're in the corner, get a meaty. But even if they're not in the corner and they're mid screen, she is generally getting like a frame too. He's hitting the second frame of their wake ups, which is almost the same as the meaty. You don't get to beat DPs like that, but I feel like when it comes to like 5A pressure into command throw, most like all three Komas are way better at strengthening that than H-Kkohaku is. Partly because of the fact that they can spend meter on an invincible command throw, but also because their normals are just generally much better for block string offense, and so are their specials. I feel like let me look at my thing before I start tangenting off too much. the first thing that I had on my notepad was H-Kohaku's normals have like a huge amount of pushback. Like everything that isn't like 5A or 2A, and even those buttons in comparison to most of the cast have generally lots of pushback. I mean, actually, now that I think about her A button pushback is generally just pretty much the same. I think it's the same as H-Kkohaku's, whose A pushback is just standard. So I think if I'm really thinking of that statement, it's just standard pushback. But the real like killer thing about H-Kkohaku that kills her block string offense, in my personal opinion, is that the cancel windows on 5C and 2C are just not good. It's a pretty common mistake. Well, not mistake. It's a pretty common issue with H-Kkohaku when you get pickups with 2C that you hit the 2C too high because 2C hitbox lull. It hits people in the air. So you hit it too high, but you don't have enough cancel frames in order to delay the 5C enough to not mess up the combo. So you get screwed. You have to either immediately recognize this and go into a 6-2-3A combo, or you try to delay the 5C long enough and you just get nothing into the next button, which usually means you get punished on reaction for effing up the combo, which is annoying. And in terms of block string offense, it means that the stuff that H-Kkohaku does, because of her pushback and poor cancel windows on 5C, it means her stuff is kind of flowcharty, frankly. H-Kkohaku at least doesn't have any powerful commands on normals. Like F-Kkohaku has 4B, even though her 4B is dog water compared to like C's. How her 4B is dog water compared to like most characters' 5Bs, if we're being real here, because that character is not good. But F-Kkohaku has like 5B, which is like a low commit, powerful ground normal that moves slightly forward and has good frame data, good whiff recovery. It's not the best, but it's powerful enough. It's good enough for block string offense. And she has a better 5C because she doesn't have the autocomplete 5C that H-Kkohaku has, and her 5C cancel windows are not like borked. Probably because she's an F Moon, and if the F Moon cancel windows were completely borked, that character would just be completely unplayable. She also has less pushback on some of the stuff that doesn't really matter. Like she has less pushback on 2B, but that's because her 2B sucks and not because they actually were like probably thinking about it that hard. I was talking about pushback and cancel windows. Let me look at my doc again. I'm trying to not like ramble too much. Like this is gonna be a rambly video, of course, by its nature. I'm trying to like structure it enough so I can like send this to people who want to hear my thoughts on the character. Oh right, the forward advancing normals that H-Kkohaku has are all garbage. That's something I didn't put on the doc, but that's something I probably should have. Like H-Kkohaku's 6AA, when it comes to like comboing, out of the 6AAs in the game, it's probably like top 3 in terms of like powerful combo tool. Like it's up there with Arc's, CL's, and Hime's 6AA, and even who am I thinking? HV Scion, her 6AA is pretty strong for combo as a combo tool. H-Kkohaku 6AA is powerful as a combo tool. I will never like downplay it on that regard. But when it comes to like block string offense, her 6AA is probably one of the worst H-Moon 6AAs in the game. And I frankly think the only 6AAs that are worse are the ones that are so dog water bad that they're like H-Nero 6AA is pretty much the only one that I think is like genuinely worse in block string offense than H-Kkohaku 6AA. Because H-Kkohaku was designed to be the grappler of the game, they gave her 6AA much more pushback than most of the other 6AAs in pressure. Like, if you do 6AA on Arc or CL, and you notice how close they are to the opponent after a 6AA, like right next to them, it's like night and day compared to H-Kkohaku doing a 6AA, and she's pretty much almost at 5C distance away from them. Like 5C is just barely hitting them after the 5A 6AA on block. It's absurd. You have to like either... And 5B will whiff on them if they crouch after a 5A 6A on block too. So you either have to dash 2A or you have to try to like pick at extended green with a preemptive 2A. It sucks. What else? When it comes to for forward advancing normals, 2B sucks. I'm not saying that because Wara. I know 2B sucks is a meme phrase because of Wara players, but I think H-Kkohaku 2B outside of like just general filler button nonsense like in combos and stuff is like a genuinely bad button, primarily because it has like the auto whiff, like it auto completes on whiff to like 5cc, which is kind of a blessing and kind of a curse. Like it's let me let me try to think about this a little more. Okay, so because 2B auto completes, that means that its effective total duration is pretty much as long as 2C's, but its recovery is obviously a lot lower. Like it's 16 frame recovery compared to 2C's like 20-ish frame recovery. Of course, 2C is 25 frame recovery and 2B is what? Let me check the wiki real quick. I think it's 16. Speaking of wiki, I have been planning on fixing this character's wiki forever, but wait, what? Her recovery is it's not. Oh no, I was thinking of H-Kkohaku's 2B. Her recovery on her 2B is just as bad as 2C, actually. Bro, this button's just flat out more total duration than 2C, actually. What the? 2C is 19. It's 9, 4, 13, 37 total frames duration, apparently. While 2C is 7 plus 8, 15, 19. It's pretty much the same exact total duration. It's like a frame or two, bro. Okay, but let me go back to what I was saying before. Because a 2B has two hits that are slightly that come right after another, it's a lot better at getting psyching people out who think they can whiff punish it into they realize that it whiffs, and then by the time they react, you're doing something else. So versus I'm trying to get better at doing this in general, but versus people who are like paying slightly more attention to the game than general, like versus Alps and Skeleton, I'll do like 2B whiffs at like 2C whiffing distance, and then I'll like mash 2A afterwards because they'll be right up in my grill and they'll think they'll be able to punish the 2B. Although, frankly, I didn't know that the recovery was only 2 frames better than 2C, which is mind blowing. Why is the 2B so bad, man? It has to autocomplete and then it has like a trillion years of recovery, and its clash is awful because we just realized that clash is based on player priority, meaning that in order for it to clash consistently and not trade badly versus ground to grounds, you need to have the opponent have priority, meaning the opponent has to have hit you last. And if you want it to be a powerful anti-air, you won't need to have hit them last, which is fine for anti-air purposes, because generally if you're anti-airing someone, you're usually the last one to get a hit because they're approaching you in the air, so they're not being as careful as they were to have approached you on the ground. So generally that's fine. Like 2B not clashing versus air to grounds is fine. It's fine most of the time because usually it trades okay. But like, man, Melty Blood. Anyway, let me go back to the notepad real quick because I just talked about why I think her block string offense is bad. If you need me to explain why I think H-Kkohaku block string offense is good, you can just watch this set and watch how my character has to like just hold there and guess extremely hard versus basic 2A dash 2A pressure, because Koma's dash is like 12 times better than my character's, first of all, and then his 2A and 5A are also better than my character's despite being no, they're not. Let me stop some cap. His 5A is not as good as my character's 5A, even though it feels like it's sometimes better. It's just tall. Like he's a slightly taller character than Kohaku, so it feels like his 5A commits war crimes every now and then. But it's not that bad. But his 2A is like +4, and he gets to perform his BS like instant dash off of it, which takes me off to high heaven. Let me go back to the notepad. Oh, right. The last thing I had to say about Kohaku block string offense, we've been talking about this for what, 10 minutes at this point? I think all these topics are going to end up being 10 minutes long. Kohaku block string offense is just too readable. Because I said this like 5 minutes ago, but she doesn't have any powerful command normals like at all. She doesn't even have a consistent ground normal that hits crouchers from decent space away. Like C-Koha has 4B and F-Koha has 5B. She just doesn't have a normal like that. 5B, like H and C-Koha 5B is not consistent because of the whole whiffing crouches at a distance thing. People will pretend that the button's consistent at anything. The button, it's fine. It's not like egregious or anything. Like, it's not like broken or whatever. It's below par though, because you look at the hitbox and you think that button would do it all, man. But then you actually play and try to use the button, and then its weaknesses, they make themselves very evident in like every single phase of the game, especially block string offense though, because the earlier issue of having poor forward advancing normals, because 6AA are garbage for block string offense purposes, which is why you see me rarely use them. Like, I'm trying to get them back into my play because I figured using them a little bit is probably better than just not using them at all. But it's like, it's frustrating, man. Because of the poor pushback, because of the poor forward advancing normals, you have to wrestle with the fact that everything that is mid-range is either too high commit or just not very consistent. And then because H-Kkohaku's defense is so bad, which is, you know, the next point on this list, you it ruins my mental, bro, because you get a clean hit, you have to open them up on block string offense unless you're like a hit confirming genius, like unless you hit confirm everything to Oki, which H-Kkohaku can do if you're like nice with the sauce enough. But if you go into air throw, or if you don't route or give up damage to get 623 beat, you're wrestling on block string offense to open up the majority of the cast. Like, even the bad H moons can tend to get away with trying to RPS H-Kkohaku offense most of the time, because while RPS isn't like completely in their favor, there are very good gamble points for most of them that aren't like hilariously bad, like Nekomex and stuff like that. But let's go into the next topic on the notepad, which was why H-Kkohaku's mashing is actually bad. Because H-Kkohaku has a 4-frame normal, and because C-Kkohaku has so much infamy, people have sort of like just consider the fact that because she has a 4-frame normal and she has ADP, that her mashing must not be that bad or whatever. And I strongly disagree, but most people would not like disagree too heavily on this. I think saying an H-moon character has bad defense, even if they have like bunker, like, let's get this good stuff out of the way first before people start calling me a down player, because a lot of this video is negative about H-Kkohaku. But the very end of it is going to be positive, I promise. But I'll do a little bit of positivity here, so I'm not called like a down player or whatever. Sorry for that loud sniffle. I don't know if the mic even caught that. What was when it comes to H-Kkohaku's defense, her bunker is the second biggest bunker in the game, right next to H-Scions, which is just flat out very strong. And by bunker, I'm talking about EX bunker. Because of the fact that it's just so huge, you actually get to use it on block string offense if you decide to be a little passive, which honestly I think is the strongest use of bunker for H-Kkohaku specifically. I feel like anytime I try to use bunker on defense in order to try to turn the tides of the situation, because what I said earlier about H-Kkohaku's block string offense just being so committal and just not good, it usually just means I end up spending 100 meter for a side switch and for a hope that the opponent messes up, or I outplay them in a very significant manner, which I feel is not very consistent game plan compared to like if they're in the corner and you're being a little passive and you're just standing, you're slightly out of throw range and you're up in the grill blocking, you can just rapid fire the bunker from a distance away, and even if they press something slightly disjointed, because the bunker is just that huge, you're gonna get them knocked down in the corner. And since they're in the corner, and since you get a clean knockdown, it means you can actually run bomb Oki off of it, which I feel like her block string offense, I'm beginning to feel like her strongest tool on that is just EX bunker, just flat out, because everything else is just too inconsistent. But EX bunker, it has the sauce. It's big, it's consistent. You just need 100 meter for it, which is cringe, but it's better than having nothing that's consistent on block string offense at all. And frankly, I think EX bunker is, and her 4-frame button, like, As much as I hate mashing 2A and 5A on offense, I don't think they're consistent at all as compared to what people will have you believe. But it is a 4 frame button. Let's stop some of the cap. It's as much as I hate using it on offense, and it feels like just a prayer and a hope that someone messes up a string or whatever. It's something to have. Also, the footage that I'm playing in the background just reminded me. For those of you who are not watching actively, I got 2D counter hit, and H-Kkohaku specifically, is probably the H move that gets the most damage off of 2D counter hits in the game, because she gets to go into bateau loop off of both her regular shield counter and her 2D shield counter if it counter hits, or if they're in the corner, frankly. So that's the strong stuff about H-Kkohaku. Like, if H-Kkohaku has the corner and is keeping the opponent locked down in there, I feel like her defense, her bad defense, the parts that where it's like not complete garbage, it helps her offense a little bit. But like when she's in the corner and she's the one blocking the mix or the block string offense for most of the other characters in this game, and let's be real here, I feel like outside of like raw reward, but like, of course the reward has an effect on stuff, because like, let's be real here, like, even though Tono's block string offense is good in quotation marks, because there's no reward, we call it bad. And even though I'm telling you that I think H-Kkohaku's offense is not all that great, because if she gets a hit, she gets to run, she gets to bateau loop you into some of the strongest Oki in the game. I personally think it's the very strongest Oki in the game, frankly. People call it good, even though I personally wouldn't call it that. But again, I'm biased. I play this character as my hobby, so of course I'm going to be more, polarized on stuff regarding this character. But I was talking about mashing, and I got into another tangent. But hey, this is the Yak Corner. This is going to be me talking about stuff. Let's go back to 2A, because I'm trying to not take forever on this bullet point, even though it's not looking so good. It's not looking hot. 2A is 4 frames, but its range is not good, and her mid-range mash buttons are so hilariously bad that it like makes up for 2A being so fast. So what do I mean? I think when it comes to characters in strong defense in this game, you have to look for characters like Koma and Nania, because I personally think when it comes to defense in this game, Koma, Nania, and Sasuke are like the holy trinity of defense. All 3 of them have strong buttons on defense or strong specials that you really don't want to deal with on defense, that are all powerful and annoying. But the most annoying button on defense for Sasuke and Nania when you play against them is going to be Nania's 2B and Sasuke's 2C, because even though Sasuke's 2C is relatively high commit, it's fast and it's low profile, which means that it gets to just go under a lot of redash pressure, because if someone's redashing at you, typically people tend to redash with 5A because they're trying to prevent you from jumping out of the corner. Meanwhile, Sat's 2C, it shuts down like redash 2. It makes redashing a lot less appealing. And if you do redash, you're probably going to redash with 2A, because you just know that the sweep's so huge and it's so fast, it discourages you from doing that. And then she has a whole bunch of metered, powerful EX invul options that are honestly all kind of brain dead, frankly. And it's the same deal with Nania and Koma. Like, Nania has 2B, which is a fast, low profile button. It's not as like ridiculous as Sasuke 2C, of course. I don't think there's a single character in this game that has a button as ridiculous. Actually, Arc does. Arc has 2B. Like, C-Arc 2B is ridiculous because it's pretty much like Sasuke's 2C at home, but it doesn't trip. So you actually have to like use your brain to confirm off of it. But back to Nania 2B for a sec. It's frame 9, I believe. It's either frame 9 or frame 10. I'm not checking the wiki. But it's low profile and it reaches hell far and it's disjointed as F. So it tends to like beat redashes clean and allows him to gamble. It allows him to use stuff like his DP to gamble on defense. Not Koma, he's a lot worse character. He's not as good a character as Nania or Sasuke. But he has like he has like the Sasuke thing where he has a trillion invul normals, not normals, invul specials that all have invul on startup and require different actions and require you to pay attention and look at what he's saying and doing at the super flash, which is not consistent enough because there's just too many things he can do. Uh, what was I saying? But he also has stuff like 2B and Rekka 1. Honestly, this character's defense is cracked because Rekka 1 armor in this game is not good generally, but the armor on Rekka is good enough that allows him to make running offense versus him really annoying. And when it comes to like that sort of defense, H-Kkohaku is just completely out of luck. Like I said earlier, she has pretty much one of the longest H-Moon bunkers in the game, which is strong, yeah. But I said it earlier that I think it's stronger on offense than it is on like traditional defense because again, H-Kkohaku doesn't get mix unless you're like in the corner and she gets you a knockdown on you. Which the only way for Bunker to do that is if she's like bunkering you while she's in mid screen and you're in the corner. Because okay, I'm talking in circles a little bit. I'm so sorry, but again, I don't have to be sorry. This is a Yapping Corner. This is a podcast. Omla's thoughts on H-Kkohaku video. Oh, but let me go over some of the more bad stuff on H-Kkohaku that I was talking about. Oh, I said A. I was talking.
You what?
I was just talking about. So they posted something that I posted in chat already that I should make a yeah. So I was like organizing all my thoughts on H-Kkohaku as a character, and I was talking about how I think her defense, like her defense is like obviously bad, but I think her block string offense is while the rewards like amazing and best in class, I think like trying to get the hit on opponents who are paying any sort of attention is difficult, and because of the fact the defense is so bad, it kind of like loops together. So because let me because her block string her pushback on all her normals is cranked up to like 11 compared to most other characters who are H Moon, because of the fact that she has a command grab that's busted. So they in a rare decision from Komone, he actually did some actual bouncing.
Yeah, he did a bit of balance.
Yeah, so her 5A6AA is garbage for it's garbage for like advancing and getting block string offense, and it's a lot better in combos. And her 5C and all her mid-range normals have tons of pushback and are very inconsistent because they have a whole bunch of recovery and stuff. Like her 2B is 22 frames of recovery, 2C is like 24, and 2B and 5C both autocomplete, and they both have a whole bunch of recovery. So and 2B is negatively disjointed on the second hit, the advancing hit.
Yeah, it's shorter, right?
Yeah, compared to the H-Kkohaku version, which is hella disjointed on the first hit that moves a little bit further, and the second hit is negative disjointed as well, but it moves slightly further, and because you can delay it, it's a timing mix-up, and you don't even have to do the second hit either. You can just do the first hit and recover. So because the advancing options are weaker, H-Kkohaku has to, and because she doesn't have like a command normal like 4B, or in the case of F-Kkohaku's 5B, that video finished already. Because she doesn't have like F-Kkohaku 5B or C-Kkohaku 4B, she doesn't have like a good mid-range normal. So she has to rely on like stuff like preemptive 2A and dash 5A or something in order to even reset pressure. And because of that, you're gonna get hit a lot more when fishing for throws or just clean hits on this character compared to like C-Kkohaku or F-Kkohaku, which ends up you end up having to block more generally. And because of that,
Kinda. I agree with mostly of that, but I think C-Kkoha suffers from the same issue.
Yeah.
And that outside of plant stuff, her pressure isn't actually that potent, because she still suffers from the same issues of having a shitty like redash and
Yeah.
not the greatest. Good plus frames for like frame trapping, but not good plus frames for closing distance or like getting lasting threat out of keeping people blocking. She has like the long overhead, but that's blockable
Yeah.
and not very good
I
reward
feel like
combo.
Sikoa's best way to like gain space on most opponents is uh either use 4B to drag them closer to you, which is a bit of a risk, or you can use 5C blocks 5C 2A cancel or 5C 5A, I mean, on a crouching opponent, because that actually gains distance and makes the distance shorter, and you can then just do more 2A stagger pressure.
Hmm.
I also wrote like a notepad of all my thoughts. I'm gonna screenshot it and put it in like the VA chat so you can see some of the stuff that I was thinking and talking about. I'm like halfway through it because I really am used to yapping. It's a no micro. Because I was watching like I play Pokemon Smogon singles, and I don't play it as much as I watch it. Like I play a little bit, but I watch a guy named BKC make a lot of videos on it, and he also does something similar where he puts his stuff in like a notepad and then he just talks about Pokemon meta stuff. And I was like, I kind of want to do something similar for Melty Blood. And I might as well just use this to like talk about all my H-Kkohaku thoughts. So if someone has a question about how I feel about H-Kkohaku, I can just link them to this video instead of actually discuss in LFGNA, which can be very, very draining.
Hmm. Why F Coma is a better grappler? All right.
I think he's better. Like he's not a better character. Like I'm not saying that. I think he's better at like running strike throw than H-Kkohaku though. Outside of like reward,
Oh,
like when
yeah,
you like
I
when
agree with that.
reward when you consider reward, like of course H-Kkohaku is better. She can get an actual unblockable off of it, but his stagger windows and his specials are a lot better at actually and his redash is also way better at just running basic 2A stagger pressure, and then he rekkas slightly closer to you, or he does like a delay rekka into something generally semi-safe. He's not taking like super big risks outside of like redash, and he can mix up his redash relatively well because he has enough specials and moves that it's he can obfuscate what he's trying to go for compared to Kohaku, especially H-Kkohaku, who doesn't have any specials that are good in block string offense other than Feint. And she still has the issue that all her normals, they push her back super far, so Feint isn't as good as it would be on like a worse character who has slightly less pushback and slightly more moves, like a actual command normal or something.
Yeah.
She doesn't have the 6C Feint, pretty much. Sometimes I wonder why they actually let Sequoia do 6C Feint at all, especially in AACC. It made sense in AC, but not in AACC.
Cause what? It's only like plus. What is it like +3 or something?
It's +3, yeah. And then she gets to RPS with 5C, 2A, or dash, free dash.
Yeah. It's she can have it.
Yeah.
It's not. She can have it just because like you get command grab by her. You're holding, like you're eating damage, eating a bit of damage, and you have to hold the fuzzy
Yeah.
high low bullshit. But it's not nearly as extreme as like some other characters who are hitting you with anything, or who are like hitting you with significantly more stuff into like spookier situations. I mean,
Yeah.
not to say that Sikoha isn't scary, but I just think her offense is a bit overrated. But yeah,
I think
yeah,
all of the
considering
Kohaku's block stream offense is overrated, honestly. But like I think their Okizeme is like their claim to fame.
yes,
That and just raw damage, because like H-Kkohaku has generally her routing that is strong is not as, it doesn't require hyper optimizations like it does for most characters. She just shits. She just does the damage.
yeah, the hyper optimization buttons only really exist to ensure that she can cycle max
Yeah.
effectively. But I feel like she's another character where if you're not capable of cycling max very well, because you can't do the combos, you're just losing out on a lot of her danger, since she's a character where you want to have burst on deck after like every interaction if possible, just to bail out.
Yeah.
Otherwise you have like fucking nothing. You have, I guess you have a 3 frame button, but mashing with her is not ideal because her 2A isn't even that strong in terms of range.
I was just saying that actually, that people like, oh, they say, oh, you have a 2A button, you have a 4 frame 2A, so
It only really means something in like a lot of weird edge case scenarios.
yeah,
Like
because
in
most
weird edge case
characters,
scenarios, but you have to, yeah, like you have to be like, you have to have the knowledge ahead of time to be like, I need to, I don't know, it's only strong if you EX
shield
guard mash
or
everything.
or that
And yeah,
honestly, because see, man,
yeah,
I forget that. But
yeah,
I was
like
saying like stuff like Satsuki 2C, Arc 2B, and Nania 2B are generally like better like
insane,
defensive buttons.
way
Yeah,
better defensive buttons. Kohaku doesn't really have those. What is she gonna do?
yeah,
She can hit 2A and like
and that's it.
hope that they fucking run into it. And yeah, that's basically it. 2B whiffs, dead. 2C whiffs, dead.
Yeah,
5B, bruh.
that button.
See, like it ends up making sense why you hit a bar 5C because it's like the only
Because
way
you,
to
yeah,
fucking.
and then people look at me like I'm crazy, like, oh,
Yeah,
why are you not hitting the two? Oh, yeah,
yeah. But better, yeah. F coma. I think that character is hilarious because I think people are because Jog people are just getting like straight wiped out by Jog because that character objectively isn't very good.
yeah, he's not good,
He's
but
not very good at all.
him, F, all three comas, they
Him,
tick me off. Like
no,
to the
C coma is actually good. He's an actually
yeah,
good character. F coma and H coma
is like
basically
obviously,
doesn't
yeah,
exist, and F coma is like
he's on the borderline,
people always think I'm memeing. People always think I'm fucking memeing when I say if you're in the air
and you don't
and
press
you don't
anything. Yeah,
don't
yeah.
press, just don't press.
If you don't press, he doesn't get.
Yeah, he doesn't do shit, man. People fucking will be like, oh, but if I don't press, I just eat 2B. I'm like, well, sometimes that's
Yeah,
what's gonna
yeah,
have to
it's fine,
happen. What
it's
are you gonna
fine.
do? Would you rather press your non-existent jump in button
That
that's
beats
gonna get
2B.
immediately vaporized by 2B
Then you
into
eat
a
combo.
bajillion damage?
Yeah. Honestly, versus H-Kkohaku, I was doing the like the Koma game plan of just hovering in the air and not pressing anything. But because my JC is garbage compared to his 6AA, I had to look on the wiki because I kept losing. My JC kept flat out losing to 6AA, even preemptive ones. I was like, what? And it turns out the hitbox
Yeah,
for it is like hella high up because
yeah,
2C was low profiling it, and I was like, what? Oh, the hitbox is not where the animation is. That's why I was getting smoked. I, and it made sense, and I stopped with
yeah,
pressing a button in this situation. It was kind of it was kind of tilting though, because that 6AA is so bored when it comes to like advancing. Like,
yeah. It's a Bardock. It's Bardock's auto combo.
yeah,
Yeah, I I think H Coma he's a weird character.
yeah,
I think he excels really well against characters where they have to scrap with him or they want to scrap with him on the ground. So like, because all his moves are so fucking lateral, so he can just like 5A 6A 8. If that trades at all, chances are
he gets combo. Yeah,
it traded on the last hit, so he's gonna get a combo. Armored Rekkas, his IED is super aggressive and it's speed and distance, so he can just like drop in on you with fucking IED JC from anywhere. And but it's all super lateral, which sucks versus like fucking Baki. And I feel like he's not. I don't know. I kind of shit on him, but he's not actually that bad when he has like at least 100 meter, because it just becomes really. It can become really annoying. But he has to have like a pretty substantial, not even substantial. He has to have a pretty decent life lead in order for it to really become a problem, because then you have to actually interact with him. But otherwise, if you have the life lead, bro, fucking,
Yeah.
he drops down like fucking 3 tiers, because it's like, all right, he has meter. I'm just not gonna like make him block anything. I'm just not gonna make him block too much, so I don't have to fucking worry about H-Moon bunker. Don't bother meeting him, so you don't end up having to deal with 2-2C or 2-4C RPS. Just reset to neutral and float around and watch as he does 2 damage per hit.
Yeah.
Super tragic character. But if he hits you first, bruh, the round could be over.
That is a common motto. Yeah, they get a hit, you're in the shadow realm.
If you have to interact with him, Coma is just like, Coma's having the time of his life, dude. But as soon as it's the other way around, it's bro is struggling.
I should probably get back on topic on my H-Kkohaku thoughts before this completely gets off the rails. But I think one of my last parts was why I call H-Kkohaku extremely volatile, because people used to like complain when I used to say that she's like a super snowball character that can easily get snowballed. I said this earlier. I think her defense, the things about her defense that are quote unquote good are much better when she's the one blocking you and you're in the corner, because her bunker is so long, she doesn't care about blocking so many huge mash buttons like narrow force C, or like huge disjointed buttons like let's say you dash block arc 2B, because her bunker is like the second longest one in the game, and because of the fact that you're in the corner, if she bunkers you like that, she gets actual Oki compared to when she bunkers you most times. And because when she bunkers you and she's in the corner, her block string offense, it's not that good, and she doesn't get actual Oki. Like, she gets a safe jump at most, unless you get like weirdly counter hit by the bunker or something. So she just jumps over you and starts 2A pressuring you, but her outside of like the initial like 2-2As into a command throw mix, it's not that strong. And even that isn't like super duper strong, because Melted Blood throw protection is 7 frames.
Yeah.
But when she's the one running offense and she dash blocks into something and then she bunkers you, then she gets a party pretty much, because even if she gets a regular hit bunker and it's not counter hit, so the Oki isn't real quote unquote, you're still having to deal with an unshieldable bomb, and Kohaku is a 5C distance from you, and she can actually meaty 5C or 2C on you, and it becomes like a mix-up situation pretty much when she bunkers you. Or if she DPs you and she's in the corner, there's no like real, like normally when she DPs you and she's the one in the corner, you get sent to the other corner and she has to deal with the fact that her dash is garbage. So she dashes up most of the way, she air dashes the rest, and then she has to react to your tech with buttons that are not all that great for reacting to tech, because 2C and 2B are kind of inconsistent at catching techs, because sometimes it just randomly get crossed up and it's just whatever. But when she's the one DPing you and you're the one in the corner, she can just stand there and she can actually react to your tech without like any worries of BS. Hell, she can even throw down 2-2A preemptively, so if you tech at all, you have to block the 2-2A, and then she can just meaty you regularly if you don't tech. Or she can just delay the bomb or do 2-2B, and she can do a whole number of things if she's the one who's DPing you while your back is to the corner or whatever. Like the stuff that you think would be like is designed for defense on H-Kkohaku tends to be better when you're like blocking them, when you're locking them down in the corner, than compared to like actually on defense.
Yeah, like she can't like. Yeah, her defensive ability like really goes up and down based on
Positioning. Yeah,
based on the positioning, especially with like bunker. Because yeah, her bunker is super potent in its range.
Yeah, but she's not like Sasuke, who gets like mix off her bunker, so she can't like raw RPS.
Yeah, she just gets momentum.
Yeah. And the other thing I call her volatile is because those buttons that are bad for like defending when you're in the corner, they're not exactly the best for neutral either, other than like 2C. Like 2C, because of the range and the fact that you can route into like super powerful potent combos that I still need to implement into my game plan. I've been kind of slacking on proper 2C confirms for like over a year at this point, frankly. I've been I
What's up,
really,
skeleton?
hi
Any
skeleton.
yappers?
Yeah,
Any?
I've been yapping for an hour at this point.
That's crazy.
I could talk about this game all day.
I just got in like I guess 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
We had a gacha conversation on the other channel, and now they're playing multi-bud, so I figured I'd see what's
Oh,
going on.
I'll never discuss gotcha in this. I already know what that conversation's like.
Yeah, you've already sold your soul to the
To
most
Granblue.
powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. Side games. How does it feel to be playing a fucking browser game in 2024?
It's fun most of the time. But back to what I was.
Not. It's unfortunate because not only are you gacha brained, you're also MMO brained.
Toontown's the only mobile I play. that mode was good though. It's free too, so it's not like I'm paying a subscription. If I had to pay a subscription to play Toontown, hell no. But it's good.
Damn, yeah, the Toontown ad.
Yeah. What was I saying? I lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
Conversational saboteur.
If these are your thoughts on the character / Melty, why even play her? The Oki, the combos, she's my Scrimblow character.
All right. Yeah, there's no bad. Honestly, I didn't expect to even like H-Kkohaku. She was supposed to be like a character that I played while I was going to get better at the game, and then I swapped to C. But then I just enjoyed like all the stuff that's not really important, like the combos and stuff. I just liked doing it on this character, and I liked labbing her out, and I liked figuring the situations for stuff. And then eventually, at some point, I just liked the character, even though she's so volatile and she makes me mad sometimes. But then it's not really her that makes me mad. It's like it's the characters I fight against because because LGNA is mostly most of the characters that are played in LGNA that are like bad. They have better quote unquote block swing offense than my character on a not on like rewards basis, but like on a pure like options and like numbers basis. If I want, it's hard to explain. But the point is, they get a 2A and they're in my face for 12 years. When I get a 2A, I either win the interaction because they got like frame trapped or whatever immediately, or they get thrown immediately, and then it's party time for me. And if I don't get that, I'm sitting half the screen away, trying to make sure that 5B doesn't get me killed, or if I don't whiff 2C in a way that gets me killed. But when yeah, so it's not like I dislike the character because I generally like playing neutral on the character, even though sometimes neutral makes me mad because I'm not that good at it. But it's just one of these days I'll get good enough at blocking offense that it won't feel that bad to lose at it because I'll be strong enough at it consistently enough to yeah.
H-Kkohaku will mold you into the most powerful offensive character.
Because of your H-Kkohaku, we keep getting shit on by all the other regions, even though they get washed. There's like, oh, how are you losing to H-Kkohaku? To South America.
They'd lose too.
Also, Skeleton, are you done with Coma for realsies? Or just for the foreseeable future?
I mean, I don't think I'm done with Coma. I mean,
now,
like, I'm just waiting for my hitbox stuff to show up before I play.
oh wait, your hitbox is broken?
I lost it.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
When?
I was away from home and I lost my backpack.
Bruh. Oh wait, you didn't end up getting it back?
No.
Fuck.
I earned new parts and shit.
Damn, that's a pain.
Certainly.
So you've been back. Wait, have you been playing on keyboard since then?
What playing I have been doing has been on keyboard, yeah. So the netplay bracket was.
Gotcha. More OP bro.
EOR is pretty good.
Oh, word. Damn. Gotcha, Omla. Yeah, people thought I was trolling when I said that Nania Summon is like one of the best projectiles in the game. Ali thought I was trolling.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I don't think it's game breaking though, because it's
It's
got
not,
auto recovery.
yeah, it's not game breaking. I just think it's like really, I just think it's really unique, uncommon in this kind of game. I think the
It's
only like
it's
analog. Sorry,
good,
continue.
but I feel like there's more obnoxious ones.
The only like the most obnoxious fireball I think is like F lens, because she has like an actual sonic boom.
Bro, that's
But
anti-airs.
it's kind of cheap.
It's so
But
slow at anti-airs.
Okay, so I gotta go
in the
early, so I'm
context of the
ending this
character,
right now.
like it's like okay, it just
So
like helps her
I'll do one
do
of these
more
later,
bits,
eventually.
so it doesn't
This is the
feel
first one.
bad
I have more
annoying.
topics to talk about. I'll do this later. See ya.